Good evening. Our top story tonight, Joe Flacco, the MVP. Joe Flacco lit it up last night against the New York Jets. In honor of Joe Flacco, I have the jersey. But maybe you played against Joe Flacco in fantasy football. Maybe you played against Jerome Ford, Brees Hall, David Njoku. Maybe you are down. Maybe you're looking to catch up. If you have any questions, we are here to answer them. We're here to talk about all the news as well on Player Profiler today. And so we are back. If you have any questions, make sure you hit me up in the chat. In the meantime, though, I do have a question here from Dustin Brown to kick things off. Which defense do you play? Eagles, Raiders, Jags, Dolphins, or Ravens? Give me the Jaguars against Bryce Young against the Panthers offensive line. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ravens versus Dolphins. Don't love that at all. Jags over the Raiders and Eagles as well. And then your next question here, pick 2 PPR finals, Swift, Kamara, Etienne. You are sitting DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, and Alvin Kamara are must starts. DeAndre Swift, the lack of touchdowns makes him an RB2, the other 2 RB1. So there you go. Zamir and Zeke and the double flex. Let's ride. Let's go. Best of luck to you. Looks like Josh Jacobs is going to miss another game. He's going to be out with a quad injury, it looks like. Happy to have the Harry Snowman in the chat as well. Jerome Ford, the Harry Snowman, was absolutely correct. Jerome Ford, 2 touchdowns. Could have been even better if Kareem Hunt didn't get the other rushing touchdown, or the only rushing touchdown, sorry. But what a day. Lots of you in the chat. Happy to have all of you. Achan or Montgomery for my flex. We're going with David Montgomery. Devon Achan still dealing with that toe injury. Did not practice on Wednesday. Was cleared today. He is going to play, but give me David Montgomery in what could be the highest scoring match of the week. Ravens, better defense than the Dallas Cowboys as well. Full PPR Chase if he plays, or DJ Moore. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to play, even though he's been limited the past couple days. If he does play, I still think he might be a little bit of a decoy. The Kansas City Chiefs are a tough matchup as well. So give me DJ Moore over Jamar Chase. I think the decision's going to get made for you, but that's how I'm going to take it. Seattle, Ravens, Bears, or Falcons D. So Ravens against the Dolphins. I do not love that at all. The Atlanta Falcons up against the Bears. I prefer the Bears against the Falcons, honestly. And who is that other defense that we've got in there? Seattle. And the Seahawks are playing. Who are the Steelers. Yeah, Mason Rudolph looked all right. I know it's Mason Rudolph. Don't love him, but give me the Bears against the Falcons. Happy to have you in the chat here, Dean. And happy to have MLAD in the chat as well. Need to bench one. Pollard versus Detroit. Gibbs at Dallas. Chandler versus Green Bay, or Kamara at Tampa Bay. I think you're going to have to sit Ty Chandler, and Tony Pollard would be the other one. Alexander Madison, I actually forgot to check, and I'm going to look that up right now. If Alexander Madison, I think he was questionable. I think he is going to make his return. And so I think I prefer the confidence of knowing Pollard's role, even though the Lions are very good against the running back. We're definitely starting Gibbs, definitely starting Kamara. Alexander Madison was upgraded to active, so Alexander Madison will play. I don't have the confidence to start Ty Chandler over these guys with known rules. If I had to sit one outside of Ty Chandler, I'd be sitting Tony Pollard, but I think I'm starting Ty Chandler with Alexander Madison back. He deserves to be the lead back, but in what capacity is that going to be? We will see. And we will get to the rest of the news across the NFL. Some more questions from you, helping you set your lineups right after this word from the Podfather.
Oh, I see it every day online, every single day. Hey, that looks like a great fantasy team in an 8-team league. Oh, wish I could be in a league with you, right? Well, guess what? Now you can respond with, sure, let's play on Bettle. That's the beauty of this platform. This new Bettle platform standardizes all position scoring. So you just load your team and you challenge your friend, your colleague, Twitter troll, And you can browse other teams and issue challenges. Bettle is revolutionizing fantasy football. And with code Underworld, you get a $100 instant deposit match plus a free $10. So even if you deposit $20, you get $50. Think about that. So go to Bettle.com. The code is Underworld. Bettle.com. The code is Underworld. Or click a link in the description. It's fun to be right. Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from PlayerProfiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
We are back, and you've got questions here. Everett, Pitts, or Kraft, full PPR. I'm leaning Everett with the matchups and injuries to Allen and Palmer. The rankings would say Gerald Everett. Tucker Kraft would be my number 2 pick as well. I really like Tucker Kraft. He's had 4 receptions in 3 straight games. He's had back-to-back weeks with career highs in targets. So I get going with Everett as number 1. I kind of lean Kraft personally, but I understand why there is a difference thanks to Keenan Allen being out. So Everett 1, Kraft 2, not going to be Kyle Pitts for me. What do we have here? Juan wants to know wide receiver 1 and 2, as well as the flex spot, Justin Jefferson, Rashee Rice. Okay, so your running backs are going to be Zamir White and James Conner. Josh Jacobs doesn't look like he is going to play, so I am going to rule him out for you. If Josh Jacobs does play, then you play Josh Jacobs over Zamir White. But I think you're going to be playing Connor and Zamir White. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice once again with his illness, and Isaiah Pacheco could be coming back as well. So that's why we're sitting him. At the wide receiver position, you got to start Justin Jefferson. It is impossible to sit Justin Jefferson. Rashee Rice, I am also starting as well, the wide receiver 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think you have to start. And so that leaves it down to Jacoby Myers versus Tyler Lockett versus Demarcus Robinson. And I am leaning Tyler Lockett. I know Demarcus Robinson has been scoring all these touchdowns, and he is worth a flex play for sure. I just think I'd rather have Tyler Lockett. Who was your other option that we had here? It was Jacoby Myers and the Raiders against the Colts. I don't love that with how Aiden O'Connell has played. So let's go with that. Full PPR flex 1, Zamir, Higgins, Flowers, or Jaden Reed. Ooh, give me Jaden Reed against the Vikings as 1, Higgins as 2, Higgins is 1. Higgins is 1. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to play. If Jamar Chase does play, I still think you go with T. Higgins. So Higgins 1, Jaden Reed 2, Zamir White 3, Zay Flowers 4, because he's been dealing with that calf injury. His missed practice did return today. Looks like he is going to play, but still down there. Make sure you smash that like button. Thank you so much, Harry Snowman. Always appreciate you. Always a better show when you can tune in. Ridley, Addison, or Noah Brown for my wide receiver 3. Let's go get those championships. Looks like Jordan Addison is going to miss, so it comes down to Calvin Ridley versus Noah Brown. Trevor Lawrence is out. We're not going to see Trevor Lawrence this week. I still think we go with Calvin Ridley because of the targets. Nico Collins is back for the Houston Texans as well, so he's the wide receiver 1. Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver 1. So give me Ridley over Noah Brown. I think Jordan Addison's going to be ruled out no matter what. Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, or Jake Browning. Ooh, Kyler Murray has been sick. I do think he's going to play. He did return to practice today. He's questionable, but I think we're going to see Kyler Murray, and I lean Kyler Murray against the Philadelphia Eagles. Derek Carr and Jake Browning. Jake Browning against the Chiefs, absolutely not. and then Derek Carr and the Saints against the Buccaneers. That'd be my second choice, but it's clear Kyler Murray as long as he does play. Jaguars, Colts, or Rams on defense. Give me the Jaguars once again. Rams against Tyrod Taylor. It is a tougher matchup than against Tommy DeVito, as much as I did love Tommy DeVito. And the Colts, I don't know about the Colts against the Raiders. Could go either way for the Raiders. Sansa is an elite quarterback. Joe Flacco, an elite quarterback. Sansa, elite quarterback. Elite cat as well. I enjoyed your show. Like your style. Opening cracks me up. Look forward to see what you do in the future. Really appreciate that, my friend. Really appreciate the kind words. It got me blushing here. Thank you so much. Looking forward to a great off season as well. It's been a fun season. It's only going to get better. If you have any other questions, make sure you hit me up in the chat. If not, we will get to the news. And looking at the news, Joe Flacco made another $75,000 last night with a win. That's part of his contract. He gets $75K for every win he gets as the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Congrats to Joe Flacco. He is now possibly going to be comeback player of the year. He is now plus 100. DeMar Hamlin still minus 150, but those odds are creeping ever closer together. Now, DeMar Hamlin is going to win the award. Coming back from literal death is going to win you the Comeback Player of the Year award. But Joe Flacco is on the field, the difference he is making. It is absolutely award worthy. And he has really just come back in every sense of the word. He was 3-14 in 17 games with the Broncos and Jets over the past couple years. Now he is 4-1. So he's made $300,000 for winning as the Browns quarterback. Well done, Joe Flacco. Needs just 60 yards to pass Johnny Manziel as the 31st highest passer in Cleveland Browns history. Crazy that Johnny Manziel is up there. Crazy that Joe Flacco is already up there as well. And Joe Flacco has 13 touchdown passes. You know who else has 13 touchdown passes in their career? Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Joe Flacco has 13 touchdowns over the past month. Yikes. Absolutely yikes. The Steelers need to move on from Kenny Pickett. Russell Wilson would be a great target for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need to compete in this division that now has the Cleveland Browns making the playoffs for the first time with a coach going to the playoffs twice with the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski. This is the first time since Marty Schottenheimer, who made 4 straight postseasons with the Cleveland Browns. Before the Browns became the Ravens, they moved in the night over to Baltimore. Sorry, the Colts left Baltimore in the night. The Browns just left, and the history stayed with the Browns, but they were essentially an expansion team. But Joe Flacco, already looking like the best quarterback in the history of the modern Browns since that split. Bernie Kosar, obviously up there, and all those greats, Otto Graham, but Joe Flacco, best modern day quarterback. And those 13 touchdowns, by the way, ties Kenny Pickett for his career. That's 2 more touchdowns passing than the Jets have on this season, 1 more than the Steelers and Titans have on this season, and he's tied with the Giants and the Panthers on the season in just the past month. Joe Flacco, truly elite, though Deshaun Watson is going to be the quarterback of the Browns next year. They cannot move on from Deshaun Watson. Now, in order to cut Deshaun Watson, which they won't do, if they did it all in 1 year, it would literally be impossible. The cap hit would be so massive, they could not pay the rest of their starting roster, the rest of their roster, even on the veteran minimum. Now, they could spread that out over 2 years, and it could technically be possible, but Deshaun Watson is absolutely back for at least 1 more year. It's going to happen for at least 1 more year, and then he's probably going to be moved on from, just like Russell Wilson. It's a shame for David Njoku. He could really use Joe Flacco as his starting quarterback. 134 yards, pretty much all of them came in the first quarter. David Njoku is absolutely elite. And then Jerome Ford, also elite, like the Harry Snowman called. 12 carries, 2 receptions, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, both receiving. We also saw a receiving touchdown from Elijah Moore, who suffered a concussion. We wish him a speedy recovery. We saw that fencing position, which we saw with Tua Tagovailoa. It is absolutely terrifying, though. From the literature I've read, it doesn't indicate a severity of concussions. It just something that happens with concussion sometimes. So we wish Elijah Moore a speedy recovery. Kareem Hunt also gets in on the action. He gets a touchdown as well. But real MVP of this game, or at least the highest scorer of this game, is Breece Hall, 27.6 PPR points, 9 receptions, 84 yards rushing, 42 yards receiving, touchdown. Breece Hall. Breece Hall is just so good. So good. Breece Hall, like I talked about yesterday with Bradley Stalder, outside of Christian McCaffrey, there is no clearer path to being the RB1 next year than Breece Hall. It is clear as day. And it's clear as day that Israel Abanikanda is also the RB2 for the New York Jets. Dalvin Cook, 0 snaps. Abanikanda, 4 receptions, 2 carries, 30 yards on the day, 6 touches. So well done for Israel Abanikanda. Start Jaren Hall or Kyler Murray. Give me Kyler Murray, absolutely. We have no idea what Jaren Hall is at the NFL level. We saw 2 drives. We saw him get a concussion. He looked good on those 2 drives, but give me Kyler Murray against the Philadelphia Eagles, who have not been good at all. Add Flacco to Ford and that defense, and you're primed to make a playoff run. They are absolutely going to the playoffs. They could get a playoff win as well, depending on where they are seated, depending on how things shake up. Browns are a scary team. Joe Flacco already playing at a Super Bowl MVP level. Vontae Maddox back for the Eagles and no Jair Alexander. Makes me think Hall versus Murray is a coin flip. I don't know if I would go that far. I still do think that we can't be confident in Jaren Hall. We haven't seen enough. And I think Avonte Maddox does make a difference for the Eagles, but Darius Slay still banged up. James Bradbury's been torched at times. The tackling by the linebackers and the safeties being rough. So I'm still going with Kyler Murray as long as he plays. Flacco to Atlanta to save Kyle Pitts. Yes, please. Would love that. Absolutely love that. If this team wins the Super Bowl, what do they do with Watson? They can't get rid of him. It's too much money. They can bring Joe Flacco back and make it a competition. But Deshaun Watson, I think, has to be on the roster next year, just purely money-wise. I'll have to confirm that to see what happens if they spread it out over 2 years, but I think it has to happen. Thank you as well, Dustin Brown. Happy New Year's to you as well. Hope 2024 is good to you and everyone else in the chat. Love all of you out in chat here tonight and every night. Appreciate every single one of you out there. 1 PPR flex, Nico Collins or James Conner. Ooh, Nico Collins has been removed from the injury report. That is tempting against the Tennessee Titans, who can be passed on, but I think I go with James Conner as the bell cow in CJ Stroud's first game back after missing 2. Nico Collins missed a bunch of time as well. So I think I go James Conner. It's tough, though. Baker versus New Orleans or Kyler Murray versus Philly. Ooh, I think I go with Kyler Murray as well. Baker has been balling. No Marshawn Lattimore for the Saints is also really good for them, but I like the matchup for Kyler Murray against the Philadelphia Eagles, the potential for the flu game here. I think I lean Murray with the Konami code upside, but I could be wrong with this illness. What do you think, Harry Snowman? Where are you leaning on that one? That one is tough. Jaren Hall, Kyler Murray, I don't think is tough. Baker versus Kyler Murray is tough. Rice or Barkley for the flex? Oh, come on. We got to start Saquon Barkley. We have to. We absolutely have to. Tyrod Taylor is back, starting quarterback. Offense going to be moving just a little bit better. So give me Saquon Barkley. You can't sit Saquon Barkley in the fantasy football championship. Dynasty question, Superflex PPR. If Jacobs doesn't play and I have to start Khalil Herbert in the finals at RB, is Chuba for next year's late 2 an overpay? And what's his outlook for next year? It's an overpay, but you got to overpay to win championships, right? I mean, that is something you just have to do. So I'd rather give up a third for Chuba Hubbard, but a late second instead of starting Khalil Herbert. If you think that's going to be the difference in winning a championship, then you could do it. Ooh, someone offered me Connor for a late second and a 3 as well. Is that any better or worse for me? I think I would go with James Conner because Chuba Hubbard's going to have more competition next year. I think he's a free agent, and if not, he's still got Miles Sanders. He's not going to be a bell cow. They could draft someone. And James Conner is also going to be a free agent, but I think he's just better this week. So I think that 2 and a 3 for James Conner, and maybe you flip him in the offseason if he gets some positive news. I think that's where I lean rather than giving up a second for Chuba. But yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to go. I think that's the way I'm going to go for the championship instead of starting Khalil Herbert. Jaden Reed, Chuba, or Ty Chandler. Give me Jaden Reed, wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers. I love me some Jaden Reed. Ty Chandler's role is now questionable with the return of Alexander Madison, and I do like Chuba Hubbard quite a bit. Just love Jaden Reed. If Chase sits, should I start in full PPR Godwin, London, or Shaheed? Or should I hold and pick up Pickens or Judy as a fill-in? I would go with Chris Godwin this week against the Saints. London would probably be my 2, and Shaheed would be my 3. Pickens with Mason Rudolph. That is tempting. That is tempting against the Seahawks as well. Ooh, maybe I go ahead and get George Pickens. It's George Pickens or Godwin. I think I lean Godwin, but George Pickens is absolutely enticing. Lost Waddle PPR. Who do I start? Cedric Wilson. Well, it looks like you're going with Cedric Wilson, and I am sorry, my friend. That is a tough situation for you to be in. Jalen Waddle, like Jeff just told us, is out. He's got the high ankle sprain. Rest of the team looks good to go. Tua Tagovailoa, left thumb and quad, he's good to go. Tyreek Hill, good to go. Raheem Mostert, good to go. Javon Holland also expected to make his return after spraining both of his MCLs in both knees. He is expected to return after only 4 games. Devon Achane also good to go. Trevor Lawrence going to be out. CJ Beathard going to be in. He's going to be the starter. The Jaguars need a win. If they win their next 2, they clinch the division. They control their own destiny. If they lose this week, they could still win the division, but they're going to need some help next week. I can't remember the tiebreakers, how it'll shake out and it'll depend on the wins and losses this week as well. But the Colts and the Texans play each other next week in a game that could be for the AFC South Championship. So Jags need the win, need to protect Trevor Lawrence as well. Keenan Allen going to be out. Josh Palmer going to be out. We talked about that earlier. Gerald Everett becomes a more intriguing option. Cardinals going to be without Hollywood Brown. He's headed to injured reserve with that heel injury that has kept him out of a couple games, kept him out of practice for a couple months. Even when he was playing, he still wasn't practicing. Kyler Murray, we talked about his illness. We talked about Josh Jacobs, doubtful with the quad injury. Jacoby Brissett also popped up on the injury report. He's got a hamstring injury, suffered it yesterday after practice, ends up limited today. So it does look like Jacoby Brissett is going to play, but they could have to turn back to Sam Howell. I don't know how this is going to shake out. Jacoby Brissett was announced the starting quarterback. All good Wednesday, all good Thursday. Then after practice, Jacoby Brissett feels a little tightness in his hamstring ahead of the meeting. And so he gets treatment today. He's limited. Do expect Jacoby Brissett to start, but not a good start for Ron Rivera's plan to screw the Commanders because he knows he's going to get fired. Sam Howell could end up back out there at some point. Packers going to be without Christian Watson once again. Luke Musgrave did return to practice this week, which is lovely. He suffered that lacerated kidney. Maybe he returns for the playoff run. Either way, good sign that he is practicing. Love to see that, though. He's probably not going to return. He's doubtful alongside Christian Watson. Dontavian Wicks is questionable, but he's been very limited in practice. I don't think Dontavian Wicks is going to play. And if he does, he's not going to be at full strength. So that's part of why I love Jaden Reed so much. Zay Flowers did return to practice today. Hope that he can play this weekend. Odell Beckham missed practice today, but it was just a rest day. Don't worry about that. Getting him at full strength ahead of this matchup for the number 1 seed. Ravens need to win this to clinch the 1 seed in the AFC, clinch that bye. Dolphins hoping to win it. If they do, it'll come back down to next week against the Buffalo Bills, whether or not they can clinch that first seed or not. Tyson wants to know, update as well, can probably get Derrick Henry for a 2 and a 3. Does he hold value next year at all? Oh, Derrick Henry holds more value than James Conner next year for sure. They're both going to be free agents. Derrick Henry is probably going to get a better contract, probably going to get a better situation, probably going to have less competition, bigger name, better athlete, better player still at this point. So yeah, take Derrick Henry for that 2 and the 3. That is your best offer right now. The Connor and Chuba offers are close. I leaned the James Conner. Take the Derrick Henry one, though, out of those. Maybe another one will come up as well, but give me Derrick Henry. Like the Harry Snowman says, the Baltimore Ravens were very, very interested in Derrick Henry. They tried to trade for him. Basically the trade was all but signed for. Owner of the Titans says, nope, need to sell tickets. We're keeping Derrick Henry, so that's why he stays. But he could very well end up in Baltimore next year, like the Harry Snowman said. Chiefs could be with Isaiah Pacheco. He did return to practice today. Andy Reid is confident he will return and will play on Sunday, but it is a concussion. You never know how that's going to respond, so we will see if he's activated tomorrow. CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, missed the past 2 days of practice. Not a good sign. Don't love to see that. He is sick. They do think that CEH is going to play, but the other running backs, LaMichael Pirine, Deneric Prince, everyone's favorite undrafted free agent from the offseason, and Keontae Ingram, who was on the Arizona Cardinals earlier this season, ended up getting waived, signs with the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. So those are the 3 running backs that could be in rotation if Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire both miss or are both limited. In the finals, but lost Waddle as well. I have 2 spots to fill. Who do I gamble with for max ceiling as I am projected to lose? Jahan Dotson, DJ Chark, Michael Wilson, Hunter Henry. All righty. I lean DJ Chark after his big performance, and the Jaguars, if you're going to move the ball on them, I think they're going to get sacks and interceptions, but DJ Chark, revenge game against the Jaguars, could be enticing. Jahan Dotson with his new quarterback, and who are the Commanders up against again? They're up against the 49ers. You can move the ball against them. You can through the air. They're weak against receivers. That is their one. And Michael Wilson. I think I go with Jahan Dotson and DJ Chark. I'm not going with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's also banged up. He's got a knee injury as well right now. So I expect him to play, but he's not being at 100%. Scared if I do the deal. He's playing Houston this week, who bottled him up a couple weeks ago. This is true. And I do prefer James Conner this week to Derrick Henry. Yeah. I think. Do you go with James Conner? Am I right too on that? James Conner over Derrick Henry. Where's Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry looks like Derrick Henry's above James Conner in the rankings. I still go Derrick Henry against the Eagles. So go with the Derrick Henry one. Other injury news, Jamar Chase, he did return to practice. We'll see. I don't expect Jamar Chase to play. We'll see is the quote that we got. Puka Nacua didn't practice today. He had some tightness in his hip, but it's Puka Nacua. He's going for that record. Might set it this week. Probably not this week. I think he needs like 200 yards, but Puka Nacua gunning for that rookie record all-time receiving yards from Puka Nacua. He's expected to play. Alvin Kamara didn't practice today. He's sick, is expected to play. Cole Kmet didn't practice earlier in the week. He's back, is expected to play. Kenny Pickett is questionable to play. Now, Kenny Pickett is not going to be the starter, but Kenny Pickett is healthy enough to play. He's not healthy. He's healthy enough to play, but do they want him to play right now? Do they want to risk aggravating this high ankle sprain, or are they going to give him another week? So what I expect to happen is Kenny Pickett to be inactive, but he'll be the QB3, so he'll still be there. And then we'll have Mason Rudolph as QB1, Mitch Trubisky as QB2, just to ride the hot hand for another week. They've already announced Rudolph will start. Just protect Pickett. There's no reason to make him the backup and risk anything there. Brock Purdy also off the injury report. Deebo Samuel off the injury report. Most importantly, Trent Williams off the injury report. Washington Commanders going to be without both of their outside cornerbacks. Deebo Samuel needs 166 yards to get to 1,000 yards, and that would be an incentive for him. Deebo Samuel might get 166 yards this week alone, but Brandon Ayuk might also get 166 yards. Brock Purdy against the Commanders in the fantasy championship. Nothing sweeter than that. KJ Osborne or Demarcus Robinson. Give me Demarcus Robinson. With Jaren Hall under center, I don't know who's going to be the 2, whether it's going to be KJ Osborne or Brandon Powell or Josh Oliver. I don't know what the Jaren Hall offense is going to look like. We don't have any data on that. We do know that Demarcus Robinson is going to be running a ton of routes. He's going to be out there early and often. He's going to be catching touchdown passes. So give me Demarcus Robinson over KJ Osborne. Final news and notes across the NFL. Will Levis is set to make his return from his high ankle sprain. Michael Pittman clears concussion protocol once again. Michael Pittman is expected to play this week. Zach Moss is going to be out. And final piece of information, Russell Wilson confirms that Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos came to him after the win against the Kansas City Chiefs during the bye week and said, hey, if you don't adjust your contract, we're going to bench you. Russell Wilson refused. And now here we are. Where is Russell Wilson going to end up? I hope it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really do. The Pittsburgh Steelers could use a stable quarterback like Russell Wilson, an objective upgrade over Kenny Pickett, far and away. Russell Wilson and George Pickens would make sweet music together. Whoever it is, if Russell Wilson doesn't land with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Steelers got to get a new quarterback. That is the most important thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. Hate asking defense questions, but need your help. Cowboys or Seahawks defense? Ooh, give me the Seahawks. Cowboys against the Detroit Lions. Do not love it at all. Give me the Seahawks. Russell Wilson absolutely has his limits. That has been made very clear. But you know who has even greater limits? Kenny Pickett.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.